This video is going to be my reaction to the Ravens' 34-20 win over the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. A brutal game from the standpoint of injuries to players or important players on both teams. And also, I have to digress for a moment before I talk about the analysis of the game and the evaluation. I feel like this is Exhibit Z that the NFL is an incredibly dishonest organization. When they talk about player safety, I stop listening. As a matter of fact, I think I stopped listening before whoever says it is even done pronouncing the word safety. It's really just an attempt to dominate another night, another time slot, Thursday night. And the only reason they don't do Friday Night Football is because they know people go to high school football games and they wouldn't get the ratings they would get. It's not that Mark Andrews or Lamar Jackson getting hurt tonight had anything to do with playing on 4 nights rest, or B.J. Hill, or maybe even Joe Burrows. But whenever I hear them talk about player safety, the first thing that pops in my mind is a 17-game schedule and Thursday Night Football. I feel like the NFL, it's a cruel joke when they talk about player safety. I'll move on from that point. It's a good win in the division at home, where the offense finally got the run game going in the second half. I think over 120 yards rushing in the second half. Gus Edwards and Keaton Mitchell just thunder and lightning, I guess. Maybe there's probably going to be better, more nuanced, tandems to put out there. They were used interchangeably. Lamar had a number of nice throws tonight. I thought the Bengals were quite clearly playing a lot of man, trying to recreate what the Browns did coverage-wise. Very physical in coverage. No exaggeration. I think there could have been 10 or 12 holds/DPIs tonight on the Bengals DBs. Lamar finished 16 of 24, 264 and 2 TDs. Of course, he had a 68-yarder called back to Zay Flowers that 4 plays later, he gets the touchdown to Nelson Aguilar that's deflected. Lamar fought through an ankle situation and at least one infuriating call for me by our offensive coordinator and staff. And now we're 8-3. I'm headed to Los Angeles. The defense this evening had 2 drives where I thought we looked lost. 2 drives where it appeared to me as if we've been figured out. The run defense I thought was extremely poor tonight. I think the Bengals finished with 137 yards rushing, something like that. To the point where Burrow goes out for injury after the touchdown pass to, I believe, Mixon. My stream went out at that point in time. They're up 10-7. To that point, I thought our run defense was poor. Doesn't even begin to describe it for me. I thought it was downright horrendous. Now, part of it might be compensating for Jamar Chase being on the field and trying to limit his downfield opportunities. Haven't seen the film yet, so I don't know. But look, they cruised down the field on us on that touchdown drive to go up 10-7. The guys in the Discord, I'm sure my negativity gets on their nerves. There was no doubt in my mind the Bengals were going to score. It reminded me of the Browns in the second half last week. The only way they were going to not score was a turnover. Then the opening possession of the third quarter is the second one where I feel like our defense looks lost. I don't know what's going on. Remember, Burrow's out here. First possession for the Bengals third quarter. And Jake Browning, a backup quarterback, led them downfield on a drive that looked really similar to me. It looked just like Brown's stuff from last week. Only a great effort by Ronald Darby, who I thought played really well tonight, on a 3rd and 5 pass to Irwin, held them to a field goal. That did close the Bengals to 21-13, but from there on out, the Ravens O-line and the Ravens defense and Lamar, total control. Regardless of whether Burrow was in or out of the game, our offense, our O-line just took over. We had 3 scoring drives after that, after they closed to 21-13. We had 3 scoring drives in the third and fourth quarter where we're running the ball whenever we wanted. The only thing that was in doubt at that point was whether or not Lamar was going to make it to the end of the game in terms of re-injury. And more on that later. OBJ had a brilliant night. It might have been dampened by a left shoulder injury or re-injury, but he was doing a post-game interview and seemed okay. He was moving around the left shoulder right after that 51-yard catch against DJ Turner in the fourth quarter. I mean, he's beating and breaking tackles against 22, 23-year-old guys that are going to be long-time starters for the Bengals at DB. 4 catches, 116 yards. Bateman had a touchdown catch. He beat a defender on a deep route at the right sideline another time. A great recovery and play by CTB. Thought Bateman looked really good. Keaton Mitchell, did what he does. He busted loose on a 21-yard run that looked like no one was going to tackle him in the second half. Flowers had the 68-yard catch on a screen that was called back. I didn't see that one because, like I said, my stream was messing up. Nelson Aguilar had the tip pass for a touchdown. Why am I going through all this? We can compensate for Mark Andrews being out for a while. Mark Andrews clearly should not play next week against the Chargers. And then we got a bye after that. So a long time between now and when he should probably be seen out there on the field during a game. Gus, 2 more touchdowns. I think 53 yards rushing. The stats are scrolling by for you guys right there. I guess it's 62. I'm looking at it right. Keaton Mitchell had an impact. One thing that's confirmed, and this certainly is not to denigrate the Bengals defense at all, because I think very highly of Lou Anarumo and all the guys they've got over there. The Bengals cannot stop our unbalanced run game. Whenever you see us in the huddle in a short yardage situation and we're running the play clock down, we haven't even broke the huddle until 9 seconds left. You can bet there's a reason behind it, and that reason is to not reveal the formation to the Bengals until we've already lined up with like 3 seconds left on a play clock. They just can't stop it. They have not stopped it in 2 games. In fact, after the Week 2 game, where we used unbalanced set for Gus to convert, to close the game out, basically not allow the Bengals to get the ball back in that Week 2 game in the fourth quarter, in my reaction video, I said, like, there's going to be diminished returns here on this. There may be, in terms of us doing it against the rest of the NFL, but not against the Bengals. For whatever reason, they are not able to stop that unbalanced power play, where the tackle over is what a lot of people call it. One thing to talk about that I thought was really great, when the Bengals go up 10-7, Burrow goes out, but it doesn't matter, really. The Ravens' next possession, if you ask me, was encouraging. The one where Flowers' touchdown gets called back. Bengals had just taken a 10-7 lead. 2 plays later, our second offensive play, Flowers takes a screen. I didn't see it. 68 yards is called back. I haven't seen the block, so I have no idea if it's legit or not. 2 plays after that, Lamar converts a crucial 3rd and 5 to OBJ for 29 yards over the middle. I did see that one. And then his touchdown pass to Aguilar 3 plays later was tipped, I think, by an inside linebacker. I think Pratt's one of my favorite underrated inside linebacker guys. But it really wouldn't have mattered if that was intercepted or incomplete, because there was, like I talked about earlier, another hold or illegal contact on the Bengals, flag on the ground. As it stands, we declined it because Aguilar takes off for the end zone. Second week in a row, like I said, the DBs clearly have been making an attempt to be extremely handsy with us. I feel like that's a drastic shift. Even the Seahawks, I guess, were very handsy, but I feel like part of that is them being a little bit undisciplined. But the Browns and Bengals were very grabby. I thought every call tonight in those situations was legit, except for the one on Flowers up the left sideline. I thought that one was really weak. One thing to be mentioned about our defense, even though I do have some complaints. One positive thing, multiple positive things, but one of them is the job we've done on Jamar Chase this year in terms of total catches and yards per catch. I thought we did a good job against him last year, particularly in Week 5. But then in the Week 18 matchup and the playoffs, I think he had 1 touchdown in each game, 9 catches and 18 catches. So 17 catches, 2 games, he's given us problems. But if you go look at the yards per catch, it's around 10 between that Week 18 game and the wild card round. This year in the regular season, Week 2, 5 catches for 31 yards, no touchdowns. Tonight, 2 catches for 12 yards. He did have 1 late touchdown. I had all my scoreboard. It's all done, 34-13. And then I saw that coming. I was like, great. So that's why that was so a little late. But look, 2 catches on 7 targets for 12 yards. I don't think this defense played spectacular tonight. Your opinion might be different than mine. In fact, I think we were poor for 2 or 3 or maybe 4 possessions. But there's no doubt we did a great job on limiting Chase, who did beat Brandon Stevens on a late touchdown in the end zone. Let's get to some of our injuries. Hopefully Andrews and OBJ are going to be okay, and Lamar, clearly. Speaking of Lamar, I have to mention the one situation that irks me to no end, and then I'll break down 2 of our possessions. I'm talking about our 7th possession. Mid-third quarter, we're ahead 21-13. We reached the Bengals' 20-yard line, and we've been running the ball well with multiple guys, but that's not the point. Lamar got hurt earlier in the game on the tackle by Logan Wilson on the sideline. Now, in my opinion, Lamar's got to throw the ball out of bounds earlier. That's just a fact. And it's just like last week for me against the Browns. Get out of bounds. You're creating more risk by not doing so. But that's my opinion. Mid-third quarter, Lamar scrambles, falls down on a second down. It looked to me like, maybe he could have gained 4 or 5 yards. As it stands, he lost 3 or 4. So he's clearly limping. It's bothering him in that moment. The ensuing play, a 3rd and 12 from, I think, right around their 15-yard line, something like that. Empty QB draw. I don't know how heavy to criticize this. Like, our awareness level, if that was the intention of the play, let's do it this way. If the intention of the play call was for Lamar to run QB draw after he possibly just re-injured or showed that his ankle was weaker, I mean, how can anyone justify that? We're already up 21-13. It's 3rd and 12. What's the chances that we're going to convert a 3rd and 12 anyway? Whatever you want to say they are. 30%? 20%? I don't know. What's the chances we're going to convert it on QB draw? What's the chances we're going to convert it on QB draw when Lamar just fell down the play before and it looks like his ankle's compromised? It almost looks like to me the person calling plays, we did a great job tonight. We averaged 6.8 yards per play, 22 first downs, 34 points. But this play call, I don't know. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you don't have the same anger level. I stopped interacting in the Discord and said, "Hey guys, I'll talk to you after the game." I'll never understand it because that's our quarterback. That's our guy that we need out on the field to win games. We're about to go up 24-13. I don't know how to describe what my reaction would have been if I was on that sideline. It would not have been professional at all. We can score points in any number of ways in that situation. A field goal, a touchdown pass, anything. We did not have to do it on a QB draw, which, it didn't work. But that didn't have to be the way to do it. There seemed to be times where maybe we have our 3rd down play call predetermined. I don't know another way to justify it or explain it. I guess some people would say, Coach, it might have been a pre-snap RPO where Lamar looks over to the right, and if we got the screen over there, he throws the screen. And so we're blocking the screen over there. Or we run the draw to the left, and that's his 2 choices. Okay, maybe Lamar chose it. Why make that play call? What adult sees your best player injured and says, I'm going to put him at further risk on the next play? Now, I don't know if the risk level increased is going from 5% risk to 12% increase or 5% risk to 20%. But I know some plays that 0% risk. I do know that on 3rd and 12. Anyway, that one bothers me to no end. I saw pictures of Burrow from last night with something on his right wrist, like a brace, getting off the bus. Clearly, he came in with some type of issue bothering him. I do want to talk about my thoughts on the defense. It's probably more negative than some of yours. Up through the 4th drive, to that point, 10-7 Bengals lead. They've gone field goal, punt, missed field goal, a very long field goal, and then 12-play, 82-yard drive where they chewed us up. They chewed us apart. This defense did not impress me, the Ravens, for most of the night. I'm unsure of my level of faith in our defense, and I'm quite sure that a lot of you have a different opinion than mine. Our 11 personnel run defense sucks in the last 2 weeks. 11 personnel, I intend to show a package of 11 personnel run plays. I never know whether to make videos long, but to prove my point, I'm going to make it 20 plays long. If I can give you 20 instances of our 11 personnel run defense not being any good. Anyway, I thought Stevens played well against Chase. Marcus Williams, man, he looked more active and agile. I think he had 7 tackles, 2 passes defensed. Queen really struggled in the first half, in my opinion. A lot of people in the Discord were saying the same thing. And I thought he rebounded to play a completely different game in the second half. More physical, more aggressive. I think he was involved in a sack. 2 run stops. We had 5 sacks this evening. Another by Matabike, Clowney, Van Noy, Odafe Owe. Tavius Robinson got a sack on an inside stunt. Impressive to see so many guys involved. So we did some good things. But in my opinion, up to the point where Burrow's out of the game, and then even up through the first possession of the third quarter, our defense was not in control. I felt like we were reacting and not reacting well and not reacting with speed. You may have a difference of opinion. Feel free to let me know in the comment section. All right, so on the injuries, one more thing. I feel like everyone's going to mention this. The reality is we lost two football games to the Bengals in 2022 without Lamar. That's the nature of football. It just is. Hopefully everyone that got injured tonight on both teams is able to heal up quick and get back on the field. But to say that this win doesn't count or we should minimize it, I mean, it's a win. We're now 8-3. Again, I thought Ronald Darby played really well. We were very soft against the run game. It seems to me like our D linemen are letting offensive linemen get free releases and get up to the linebacker level. I may be wrong, but on those opening 4 possessions, there were a number of runs that looked exactly like the Browns game to me. That might be overly negative, like I said, but through 35 minutes of gameplay, up to the point they closed to down 21-13, I thought we were playing average defense overall against the run. Now, maybe the element of chase and trying to limit him plays a role in that. Let's look at our first drive, because I thought that one was pretty cool to see. We do this consistently, score on the first drive. I love that we're going deep a couple of times early in the game. High arc and throw to Andrews on the first play out of shotgun play action. Gus on the outside zone gets nothing. It's a completely predictable formation. Later in the game, we lined up in it, and then Lamar checked to the outside zone to the other side. Ended up being a huge game by Gus, so that was really cool. Flowers for 13, and I thought that, actually Flowers for 23. I believe that should be 23, maybe 33. Likely gets 3 blocks on the play. The first one, he kind of ran into someone's back, but I don't think he was really meaning to. The next 2 blocks looked intentional to me. Option keeper for Lamar for 7. And then it should be -1 for the 2nd and 3. Mitchell -1. 2nd and 3 from the 20. A counter to Mitchell -1. Lamar escapes out the left side for 9. RPO complete to Andrews. That's the play where he gets hurt. And then we go unbalanced and score from 3 yards out with Gus. It's like unbalanced is the antidote right now for the Bengals defense against us. It's kind of crazy. Fast forward some, I've talked about our defense enough. I'm going to talk about our 6th possession. The one that pushes the lead from 14-10 to 21-10. We got up 14-10 on the 5th possession, the tipped pass to Aguilar on the 3rd down. After a throwaway on 1st down, and then I have it listed as likely as wide open, short, but actually I say like a drop. I think Lamar scrambles out the left side and hits likely in the hands. Maybe it's on the other hip, the other side of his body. 3rd and 10 is nearly intercepted over the middle, but clearly a DPI. I think it was a Woozy against Bateman. I thought a Woozy could have been called for 3 flags on that play. They threw 2. And it's difficult. If you're a Bengals fan, you're listening this long. First of all, credit to you. But a Woozy, man, he was a fantastic football player before he got injured. It kind of sucks to see someone so talented and so good seemingly not be as effective. Maybe he'll be better next year. OBJ for 14 on the 4th play of this drive, and then complete to Likely, and they get one of, I think, 3 penalties on Simpson, or maybe it was 2. We get a bad, this is the one that I thought was bad. 54 seconds left in the half. Pass to Flowers up the left sideline. Called a DPI. I thought it was thrown like, I don't know if I want to say on the wrong side, but I thought it was thrown in a location that Flowers had to adjust, and that momentum took him into the defender. I didn't really see where the defender was interfering in a way that looked intentional at all. Now, I know the intentions of the defender don't matter, but that one I thought was the only bad one. The rest of them I thought was legit, and I thought there could have been 3 or 4 more. OBJ, the next play, man, this one's sick. I mean, that's CTB, who's a fantastic athlete. Go watch the film of CTB against DK Metcalf, I think from 3 weeks ago, maybe 4. He played great, physically stood up to DK Metcalf, like got in his grill a little bit, competed with him. OBJ catches a pass, stiff arm / spins away from him, up the left sideline for 22. Then on a 3rd and 8, Lamar scrambles out of there, and Bateman beats CTB again. I thought he was beat down the right sideline on the go ball. Maybe 1-2% underthrown by Lamar. You'd like to see Bateman not have to slow up a little bit, but it was a great close by CTB. At that point, I didn't think anything was wrong with him. And then OBJ breaks the tackle on him. Bateman beats him for a touchdown. He goes out injured later on, and I'm kind of thinking, well, did he come into the game hurt? We go up at the half, 21-10, and I'm very disappointed, like I said, in that opening drive of the third quarter. I would like to see us be more able to handle backup quarterbacks at times. But in any case, 21-3, and we're able to pull out of there. I thought that early in the game, our offense, especially the first possession, the one that I talked about, our offense looked spectacular. It seems to me as if Monken comes into games with a great game plan. Comes into games with how he wants to attack a team. So to see us score, I believe, in the second half, field goal, touchdown. Let me make sure I'm right. I'm looking at the play-by-play. Field goal, punt, touchdown. That's our possessions in the second half. I'm not counting the kneels to end the game. So to see us be able to generate consistent yards. Now, our second field goal, we only had to go 27 yards because we got the ball near midfield. But to see us be able to score 3 times on 4 possessions in the second half, if we can do that, just think about sheer mathematics here. Score a touchdown on our first drive all the time. Score 13 points in the second half in some form or fashion. And we didn't get a turnover tonight, to my knowledge. Now, it's also important to note that we didn't turn the football over. Andrews, on the play he got hurt, apparently goes down as a fumble. But we didn't fumble the ball otherwise. We didn't have any mistakes on the mesh stuff. Notice it wasn't Justice Hill on any of those tonight. I thought it was a really bad play call when Justice Hill got in. It was like outside zone. It was like, why are we running that? Defensively, Queen and Roquan combined for 21 tackles. Queen had 9 solos. I thought he played way better in the second half than the first half. I thought the first half was quite poor. So I'm interested to see where the 9 solo tackles is, because I thought in coverage, the Bengals, when Burrow was in the game, I thought they went after him. I thought they made it a point to come after him to the extent that twice, when the backup quarterback Browning got in the game, I saw him point at Queen pre-snap and say something to the running back, which one of them was them attempting to draw us offsides. A couple of things defensively. I thought there was 2 situations where we were trying to strip people instead of just get the tackle, and one of them was Van Noy in the backfield on Browning. It seemed as if he was trying to strip him, and Browning escaped. Now, Kirk Herbstreit did mention that Browning's more athletic than people know or recognize upon first, going against him. So maybe that's part of it. But to me, I see instances where we are going for the football, and the ball is right there in front of Van Noy, so I get it on some level. I'd like us to get the sack. I'd like us to get the sack and then maybe get the ball on the way down. That's a difficult skill for anyone, even a guy like Van Noy who's super talented and playing great football for us. I thought Malik Harrison played well against the run to his side. And I didn't see the same thing from some of our other guys. I'm not sure who they were. I'm writing down formations and such. You guys let me know what you saw from Marcus Williams. I thought he looked really good tonight. To compare him to 4 days ago, depending on how you want to look at it, it seems like night and day. We'll get the All-22 film hopefully early Friday and be able to get you guys some videos. But it's encouraging to see him play better football tonight, or last night as I record this, than he did 4 or 5 days ago. The amount of man-to-man that the Bengals are playing changes the dynamic a lot. I feel like it makes it easier for our offensive coordinator to call plays because we don't have to constantly try to figure out what coverage they're in post-snap. It seems to me that there was a lot of man here, and that was the case earlier in the year as well when we played them in week 2. Seems to me it's more simple for our offensive coordinator to call plays, less worry about them switching coverages post-snap. Maybe we get to play them a third time in the playoffs. That would be amazing because I think these 2 teams are really well matched. A couple of things to mention. Makari struggled against Hendrickson early. There's that third down where Hendrickson just destroys him. The easiest speed rush hand swipe that you could really get on a third down in the NFL against a left tackle. I thought later, after that, we chipped Hendrickson more, but then I think it was Herbstreit or maybe it was Al Michaels talked about how well Makari was playing in the second half. They showed some of the plays. at least 4, 5, 6 plays, Mekari looked good by himself. Now, I did see us put the running back to his side and chip him often to kind of account for that. After a win like this one, when a guy like Joe Burrow comes in injured, re-injures it, leaves the game with the lead, there'll be people who say things, and they can do that. They'll continue to say those things, until we finish the season 12-5 or 13-4. That's going to be difficult. That last number is going to be difficult with the schedule we play late. Those people have the right to be honest with you, because there's enough times in games, like last week against the Browns and this week against the Bengals, against division opponents at least, where we look like a team that's soft against the run, and we look like a team that's willing to almost kind of forfeit yards against the run to not forfeit yards against the pass. Nonetheless, this win still counts, and then we get to go to LA and face another big, strong-armed, young, talented quarterback, third one in a row, who has enough mobility to hurt us, just like Deshaun Watson did last week. You guys will have to let me know in the comment section during the video or afterwards if you agree with my sentiments about our defense. I was not impressed. I was not that impressed at all until once we got on top of them 24-13. We kind of pinned our ears back, and the run game became less important for the Bengals. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what your thoughts were to some of the opinions I gave about Thursday Night Football, first of all, conceptually, being unsound and unsafe. And then about the play call to Lamar, the QB draw. I can't understand the justification for it. Maybe you're smarter than me and you can educate me. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this reaction video, please consider grabbing a link to it and sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.